Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Are you ready to up your career? Well, you have found the right place and person. Dr. Rhonda Roehrig joining us here today. She's the owner of Career Balance LLC, and we're excited to have her back here. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jill?
Fantastic. TGIF. And we're excited to have you to talk about the work you're doing. Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Rhonda Roehrig. I am owner of Career Balance LLC, where I provide confidential, positive psychology-based coaching services for individuals and groups. So, so I work with individuals doing individual coaching, and then I do team building and professional development training for groups.
Beautiful. Well, we're happy to have you here and, of course, to learn more about the work you're doing. And I know we've talked about team building, coaching, and all that you help with people with professional development. Let's point out the website, also careerbalance.org. And how else can people reach you?
You can reach me emailing me at Rhonda, which is RHONDA at careerbalance.org, or you can phone me directly at 920-960-8821.
Beautiful. And I know we want to talk a little bit today about team coaching, correct?
Yeah, a little bit about team coaching. I don't know if you have been invited to a team or a group meeting and
Yep.
have found that, why are you even here? Like dreading the meeting, nothing's going to happen in this meeting, trying to figure out what your value is there. And I don't know about you, but I've been on those teams before. And I think most often I was viewing it as I got a lot of stuff to do in my day. I don't have an hour to sit in a meeting that nothing's going to happen. So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, am I the only one? Do you think?
No, no, not at all. A lot of us. Yep.
Well, it is interesting. I did find an article online from Insights for Professionals. It was a 2021 article that said 71% of meetings are useless. And I thought, wow, that's pretty high. So really, when we look at that ineffective meeting or team group, could be organizational or it could be individual. So
Hmm.
from like an organizational standpoint, the leader may not be providing an open atmosphere for sharing. I mean, that could be a problem.
Yep.
The leader could maybe not be having agendas ahead of time and prepping so people that can look at them ahead of time and be prepared for the meeting. Um, they may not be actually handling the meeting well. So there's lots of, from an organizational standpoint, that you as an individual has nothing to do with. There's nothing you can do about those things. But on the other hand, there are things that we can do. Sometimes we don't know what our value is in the meeting. We don't understand, well, what is it that we're actually bringing to the table? Maybe we don't even know. It could be that we're not prepared. Are we actually looking at what are the things that we can provide that could be of value to the meeting to move it forward? So looking at it from, there's a couple of different perspectives. Some you have control of and some you might not have control of. But either way, coaching can be one way in which to help alleviate that dread of going to meetings, that
Hmm.
you can actually have feel like you have a little bit of ownership in what's about to happen. So just some coaching opportunities from an organizational standpoint. It could just be training that new leader or training that group to behave as a effective group, and
Hmm.
what are some things dynamically that could really help. So that's one end, and then the other is really tying it with, you know, individuals. Because, as much as I hate to admit this, when you point the finger at someone else for why things aren't working, right, you've got three fingers pointing back at you. So really, it does start with us and how we're approaching meetings that start, how you start those meetings. weekly or how those meetings are going to end. So
Interesting.
if you're dreading that meeting starting, chances are that's how it's going to end, is it's going to end crappy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you change your mindset to look at that meeting differently, and look for it in a positive way, and what things that you can learn from it or what things you can actually provide, chances are that meeting is going to end on a little bit more positive too. So um, our own perspectives, we have more to say than we originally.
Got it. All right. So
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
organizational level, you're talking about monthly professional development sessions with the team, monthly individual
Mhm.
coaching session with all team members. But then when we go to the individual level, we're talking about bi-weekly or monthly coaching sessions, right?
Yeah, yeah. And really the idea is, if you think of this, and I've shared this before, if you think the more that we can grow ourselves, and you multiply that by the number of team members you have, if everyone is growing, that rises the entire team up. We look at our growth from a very holistic
Mm-hmm.
approach. We're bringing all of us into work, right? We're bringing, whether we want to admit that, yeah, we can separate our personal life from our work life. We're still people. We're bringing ourselves
Yeah.
into work. So the better we can grow as a person holistically, the better we can um, allow for ourselves to be our best selves at work. Right? Makes sense. I
Yes,
think
it
it makes
does.
sense. Makes
I
sense to
think it
me.
does for sure. And you're going to give us some examples of this as well, right?
Yeah.
Good.
So I've got some examples. I have some examples. So just this last week, um, I was working with a team. So this is a team of 12, and each of the team members had taken a DISC assessment. So if you're familiar with DISC, behavioral assessment.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had already gone through individual results, and we brought it then to the team. So the whole team was looking at results from a team perspective. And the activity that I had them do was to partner with someone. But before they got together with that partner, they were to look at what their behavioral style was, to identify what is that person's strengths, what's their value to the team, what do they bring to the team, to look at what are words that really work for them, what are words that don't work for them. So really, the activity was to prepare before you meet with the person. What do you need to know? Because we
Mm-hmm.
need our own personalities and what might be triggers for us, as well as the other person. So after this activity, person that I'll call Tim had shared. He's like, man, I wished that I would have seen this 2 days ago. And he's like, because just yesterday I really, really ticked Linda off. And now that I look at
Mm-hmm.
this, it's like I know why. I didn't mean to offend. I didn't mean to, but as I'm looking at this, I said all the wrong things, and it really damaged that conversation. So it was really very telling that just acknowledging, understanding where someone else is coming from would really help communication. So not only for them too, but also for the whole group to hear that this individual, um, his personality may be one that doesn't mean to offend, but sometimes might offend. So those are good things for everyone to know. So
Awesome.
that might be one avenue of coaching, is to help better communicate, understanding who you are and some of your behavioral tendencies, and how that may not necessarily be helpful in building good communication and strengthening that team. So that's
All right.
ultimately the end. The end result is that this team now is a little bit wiser
Having that
in
aha moment.
having definitely an
Excuse me.
aha moment, which was actually kind of funny because everyone knew this was happening, but this person, this kind of came to that aha moment oh, I guess maybe this is really important. So yeah, so that's
Mm.
one definite good coaching that I use quite a bit. Yeah,
And
you want another one?
yes. I was just gonna say, the team meeting personal stress number. What's that?
Yeah, this is another thing that I do in teams is often when team members are walking into the room, to I have them put a number on the board or on a flip chart or whatever we have available. So not assigning any names, you just walk in, you just put this number on the board, and the number is representative of your personal stress level at that moment, at that time. So um, it's really good because over time we can kind of keep track of, are those numbers, going lower, are they higher, or we just kind of get a sense for that. But really, ultimately, it's to recognize that other people they have lives outside of work, and there may be things going on that we are not aware of, and to be kind to others. So,
Hmm.
so in this particular meeting, um, the individual put on the board 10 times, I don't know, it was thousand, a million, whatever the zeros were. So that was kind of a red flag, that whole bucket. What's going on here? And so it really um, brought everyone's attention to this number. And the person did share kind of what was going on
Hmm.
with family situations that started at like 1 o'clock that morning before. So this was a very heightened kind of emotional response. And, through him sharing this challenge that was going on personally, it really allowed for the team members to support him, to say, hey, you know what, we gotcha. If there's anything we can do, we're here for you. So it allowed an opportunity for the person to feel valued and to feel
Hmm.
cared for.
Which
Um,
is so
and that's really
important.
important. Yeah, in a team. Don't we all want to know that someone's got our back?
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah, you feel good when you're doing the hard work, you're being appreciated, yeah, and to work with others that, in your group, I like, well, with team meetings and all, which I used to do a lot of, it was always a morale booster, which is good personally, but it's really good for the team and for the company, which overall increases production, right? And what's the
Absolutely.
word I'm looking for? Not production. Well,
Efficiency and
efficiency.
productivity. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, all
yeah.
the
Oh,
above.
definitely, definitely. And the other thing that it really requires of people is it requires people to be a bit vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that was kind of vulnerable for this person to share kind of some personal things that were going on. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that also strengthens the team, that trust, that confidentiality, and that trust, and being vulnerable to that. So lots of good things. Not that that was a high number and that was need to cause attention, but there are good things that come out of that. Um, but I think the bottom line too is, we don't often have the opportunity to share some of the things that are going on in our life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a best practice to just be kind, just be kind to people. We don't know what they're going through, and just acts of kindness, I think, go a long, long way.
Perfect. And let's remind everyone how we can contact you, if you don't mind, before we continue.
Sure, sure. So you can contact me through my website at careerbalance.org. On that website, there's also a section for a free assessment. So if you want to take a free assessment, that's on there. I can be reached by phone number 920-960-8821, or send me an email at Rhonda, RHONDA, at careerbalance.org.
Perfect.
Yep, that's how you can get a hold of me.
All right. What else is on tap for us? You want to share some more client examples?
Yeah, so there's a couple of these are more individual coaching session examples. So the team examples, we're really looking at, communication and building uh, uh, better, stronger teams.
Mm-hmm.
And these two examples are really looking at individuals and how individuals can help grow. So one individual I work with, I'm still working with her. She had a real concern about retirement. Was having some anxiety about retirement, and as we talked through this, I was asking, okay, your retirement, is it your retirement that you're concerned about? No, my husband's retirement. And I thought,
Wow.
okay, so what is the concern? And as we kind of chatted through this, she said, well, geez, we're really good planners. We've planned since, we got married. We're in good shape for retirement financially. We
Mm-hmm.
have, the kids are all out of the house. They're all
Wow.
doing well. We've got grandkids. Like everything is, good. And I thought, then let's talk about where this anxiety is coming from. And and what it turned out to be is, they have been in the planning mode for so long and planning and planning and planning, and everything's on target for this someday in the past, or in the future retirement. And now it's actually here.
Yeah.
That date that was, it's out there is now here. And so really was that transitioning from the past to looking at what that future is. The future is now. And, managing that and what to do with that. So it really was coaching on transition and helping to really recognize that maybe retirement itself isn't the challenge. It's the it's the stuff in between.
The
You know,
fear, the
it's
anxiety. Yeah.
that fear, anxiety of the unknown. And that same concept we find in business. When people are not wanting to change, or there's new things that are on the horizon that
Mm-hmm.
might be challenging that I don't know. It's the unknown, and it's leaving what you know to then go to something that is different. And there's that transition period in between. So it's managing that transition that's really where most of the challenge comes from,
Mm-hmm.
especially in business. It's the transition part. It isn't the going to something else that you know is going to be wonderful. It's the transitioning from how you normally do things to now a different way of doing things. So transition
Got
is often things that come up in coaching.
all right.
Transition. It's hard. It's hard. You feel stuck, and yeah, it can be hard.
And a lot of people to get out of the feeling stuck. It's got to be hard. It's a learning process. And how do you get unstuck, right? Could you
Yeah,
share an example
yeah,
of this too? And how
yeah,
we could,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. So in coaching, it's really I don't have all the answers. I know that, you know, like, oh, well, that's why you go. Why do I go to you if you don't have the answers? Well,
Mhm.
you're not coming to me for answers. You're coming to me to help you process through, to come up with your own answers because you already have those answers. So if someone's feeling stuck, it's really in asking questions to identify um, what is the real problem then. Because
Mhm.
sometimes we don't know what it is. I
Yeah.
just feel stuck. I don't really know what exactly it is. It's asking questions. It's asking questions and processing through the answers to those
Yep.
questions that can have you talk yourself out of being stuck. You know, uh, I had, there are days that I have that are challenging as well. And that process of, for me, I go for a walk, and as you go for that walk, I don't know if anyone else does this. You go for that walk and you think through, you process through, okay, what happened? How could I have done it better? What did I do well? What things need to be changed? You just kind of walk through those journeys. And I have a coach as well. I practice what I preach. I also have a coach. so that you have that unbiased person that you can talk with. I think sometimes having a best friend or a spouse that you can kind of process things through with can be really, really helpful. And sometimes it isn't helpful. I don't know if you've had that before, where you don't really want someone to fix something. You just want to you just want to let it out, or you just need to share what's on
Vent.
your mind to vent. Um,
Hmm.
and so that's where coaching can be really helpful in kind of getting unstuck without having that or having that non-biased ability to just share in a confidential um, way.
Got it. And yeah, some people don't have that other person. So that's why we need a non judgmental opinion, like I like to say,
Yeah,
non-biased.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes, non-biased, yeah, non-judgmental. Um, yeah, because we're all very unique and individual, and that's what I totally love is being able to really understand someone else's perspective because there
Yep.
are so many perspectives and there's so
Hmm.
many different ways of looking at things. What makes it life so rich is having all those different perspectives, and not really having a right or a wrong attached to them. They're just different ways of looking at things. Yeah,
Hmm. Well,
yeah.
we have just a few minutes left in the
All
show.
right.
Let's share, some more information about working with you and your services, please.
Yeah, yeah. So the coaching services, that's kind of what we're talking about now is that individual coaching services, but ideally, I believe they work best uh, in teams where you're working with a team, but working individually with each person of that team to really raise everyone's level. Um, and that's I think just building people to be better, leveling up, I call it, but it's being better people, being better spouses, being better parents, being better, employees, being better managers. All that's just growth. And I enjoy being part of seeing growth in others. So I'm just
Oh,
in charge. Yeah.
wonderful. And
So do we have time for
yeah, go ahead. We have 3 minutes
another,
left. Go ahead.
so another client example. Um, this is from a young leader. So new in his role. Um, we met for a couple of times, and he was sharing, geez, I'm really recognizing that, I'm getting all angry and upset when I'm working with these people. I tell them what to do, and they just don't do what they're supposed to do, and you can just see him getting all excited and emotional about it. And, I just don't know what to do. So that is another coaching example of how do you work through some of those emotional times when um, things aren't going the way that you want them to go. And it's really recognizing, actually, I was, gave him a comment for actually recognizing that he was getting excited and emotional about that because sometimes people don't even know that they're blowing their stack or they're raising their voice or they're you know, um, showing that negative emotion. And so really it was a time that we could process through, tell me what's happening. How is your body reacting when that's happening? Can you feel it kind of coming on? Can you feel your heart start to beat and your palms start to sweat and those kinds of things? And then we were able to really process through what are some things that you can do that can help alleviate that. So we look at strategies, and really strategies are just testing out
Yeah.
stuff. Hey, try this, see if this works. Try this, see if that doesn't work. Try something else. And so I can be that person that can kind of walk through those scenarios and those strategies, and then follow up.
Hmm.
How did that work? What worked, what didn't work. Um, so another popular coaching topic for individuals. Yeah, all good
Awesome.
stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
And
yeah.
just we only have a minute left in the show. So did you want to kind of uh end off with a little bit about your own experience and how you got here and why obviously you're successful and can help people with their
Yeah.
coaching and team building as well.
Yeah, I don't like talking about myself at
Aw,
all.
you have
Okay.
to. Come
Um,
on. You've been
but
through a
but
lot.
but I think from this perspective, I really do feel that I have been blessed with a lot of learning opportunities. I'm looking at this from a very positive standpoint in my life. So versus calling them challenges, which they are, but they're learning opportunities. I've had the opportunity to learn process of being divorced, the opportunity of learning about being a single parent, about losing a spouse, um, and surviving cancer. Those are all like life things. People are going through things in life, and I think some of those experiences I hold on to when I'm looking at others to kind of walk that journey with them. That we all have these things that are really challenging and are hard, but we don't have to walk that journey by ourselves. We have someone that can walk the journey with us, and we can be better. We can grow out of challenges, and we can view them as learning opportunities.
Well, thank you. And you say you get only one life to live, right? So you don't have to
In
walk the
life,
journey of balancing life, learning opportunities alone. And I know you're looking forward to partner with anyone out there listening on their journey. How can we reach out to you, Rhonda?
yeah, so please reach out to me through the website at careerbalance.org. You can email me at Rhonda, RHONDA, at careerbalance.org, or you can give me a call, 920-960-8821. Would love to chat with you.
All right. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the next time we get to connect, okay?
All right. Yep. Thanks, Jill. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
Rhonda. Have a great day. And to all of our listeners, stay tuned. More of the shows coming right up. Don't go anywhere.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.